Every fool you argue with steals a piece of your future, not your afternoon, your future, and you hand it over willingly, thinking it's a fair trade. There's a reason you keep losing these fights, even when you're right, and it has nothing to do with facts. Every week, some loudmouth with an empty skull drags you into his mud. Your brain, built for logic, walks straight into the trap. You explain, you cite facts, you wait for the moment his eyes finally open. They never open. You walk away exhausted, replaying the conversation at 2 in the morning, rehearsing the argument you should have made. You were right. You had the facts. So why did it feel like losing? Here is the truth nobody taught you in school. Intelligence is not a weapon against stupidity. It is bait, and every time you take it, you feed the exact thing you're trying to kill. Keep watching, because the fix is almost the opposite of everything your instincts are telling you to do right now. Arthur Schopenhauer figured this out 2 centuries before arguments moved online and multiplied by 1,000,000. He watched sharp men get dragged down by dull ones over and over, and he wrote the reason in cold ink. Every man takes the limits of his own field of vision for the limits of the world. A fool cannot see past his own skull, so he assumes nothing exists beyond it. You are not arguing with a closed mind. You are arguing with a wall that believes it is a window. Walls do not negotiate. Here is the part that actually stings. The fool is not trying to find the truth. He never was. He is trying to win, because losing feels like dying to a brain that has nothing else propping it up. He does not care about your evidence. He cares about not looking small in front of the room. So when you hand him logic, you are not offering a gift. You are offering a fight. And fights make small men feel important. Every counter-argument you throw is oxygen for his fire. The more brilliant your point, the harder he digs in, because now the stakes of losing feel even higher to him. There is a cruel little law hiding underneath all of this, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it in every group chat and every dinner table for the rest of your life. The less a man actually understands a subject, the more certain he sounds discussing it. A real expert hedges because he has seen enough to know how much he does not know. A fool never hedges because he has never seen far enough to spot his own blind spots. It is like watching someone confidently describe the ocean after wading into a bathtub. You are not talking to a rival intellect. You are talking to a man standing in 3 inches of water, insisting he has mapped the entire sea. Comment the word silence below if you already caught yourself doing this. Picture Andrew, 26, sitting in a meeting where his manager insists the company should slash the marketing budget because nobody trusts ads anymore. Andrew knows the numbers say the opposite. A year ago, he would have pulled up the data, built the slide, and lost anyway, because his manager needed to be right more than he needed to be correct. This time, Andrew just nods. He says the idea is worth testing, small and careful, before going all in. The budget gets trimmed by 5% instead of gutted by 50%. Andrew spent 0 energy fighting a man who was never going to change his mind and walked away with 90% of the win anyway. That single meeting is the whole philosophy in miniature. You do not out-argue the fool, you out-position him. And the next part shows you exactly how far that idea can be pushed, all the way into a boxing ring and a 13th century war camp. Muhammad Ali understood this in the ring before most philosophers understood it on paper. Against George Foreman in 1974, a fighter throwing bombs with twice his raw power, Ali did not trade punches. He leaned into the ropes and let Foreman swing himself into exhaustion for 8 straight rounds. By round 8, Foreman could barely lift his arms. Ali dropped him cold. He did not win by being stronger. He won by refusing to spend his strength where his opponent wanted it spent. Genghis Khan ran the same math against rival Khans who mocked his bloodline in his youth. He let the insults land. He said nothing back. He spent years quietly building alliances while his enemies wasted their breath, proving how clever their jokes were. By the time they understood the game had changed, they were already ruled by the boy they used to laugh at. Insults are cheap. Patience is not. That is the entire trade. Understand the actual cost of these arguments because it is bigger than the 10 minutes on the clock. And this is the part most people never calculate. Your mind only has so much processing power in a day, and every fool you engage burns a chunk of it long after the conversation ends. You replay his points in the shower. You draft better comebacks you will never get to use. You carry his stupidity home like a splinter under your skin, and it infects decisions that have nothing to do with him. That project you delayed, that opportunity you missed, that short temper you showed someone who deserved better. Some of that traces straight back to the fool who cost you nothing on paper and everything underneath it. Marcus Aurelius wrote a line that deserves to be carved into the inside of your skull. How much time he gains who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does or thinks, but only at what he does himself. Read it again. Every hour you spend tracking a fool's opinion of you is an hour stolen straight off your own construction site. Now here is where Schopenhauer becomes even more useful, because his philosophy was never just about arguing with fools. It was about surviving them. And this next part changes everything you just learned. What happens when the fool has power over you, when he signs your paycheck, holds the vote, or controls the room? You cannot humiliate him. You cannot expose him in front of an audience and expect to walk away untouched. Schopenhauer understood something most intelligent people learn far too late. A mediocre mind with authority does not experience intelligence as guidance. It experiences it as an attack. And wounded pride has destroyed more capable men than lack of talent ever did. That is why so many brilliant people spend years wondering why they never moved forward. They believe competence naturally rises to the top, so they keep proving how right they are in meetings, correcting every bad idea, exposing every flaw in plain sight. 6 months later, they cannot understand why the promotion went to someone less capable. Schopenhauer would tell you that they misunderstood human nature. Men are driven far less by reason than by vanity. Make someone feel small and he will spend more energy defeating you than improving himself. This is why wisdom often looks like restraint. Instead of confronting every foolish opinion, you simply step around it. You ask a harmless question. You let the other man arrive at the conclusion himself. You allow him to believe the idea was partly his. His pride stays intact. Your objective still gets accomplished. To an outside observer, it looks like surrender. In reality, it is strategy. Schopenhauer never admired noisy victories. He admired the man who understood that the greatest advantage often belongs to the one who never appears to be fighting at all. Most people cannot accept this because their ego demands recognition. They want everyone to know they were right. They confuse honesty with constant correction and courage with endless confrontation. But Schopenhauer saw the trap hidden inside that instinct. The desire to always prove yourself right is simply another form of slavery. The fool is enslaved by his ignorance. The intelligent man becomes enslaved by his need to defeat it. In the end, both are controlled by the same argument. The guilt will creep in here. Part of you was raised to believe that letting a fool feel smart is dishonest, that staying quiet is cowardice. Schopenhauer would disagree completely. Silence is not surrender. Silence is refusing to spend gold where everyone else is throwing away dust. You do not owe your energy to a man who has never questioned his own certainty. His confidence was never built on understanding. It was built on never discovering how little he knows. That is not your burden to carry. Schopenhauer believed that most suffering does not come from the world itself, but from our expectations of it. We expect unreasonable people to become reasonable. We expect arrogance to surrender before evidence. We expect truth alone to persuade. Then we suffer when reality refuses to cooperate. Remove the expectation, and something remarkable happens. The frustration disappears with it. You stop demanding wisdom from people who have never searched for it. You stop chasing victories that were impossible from the beginning. That is the final shift. Stop treating every fool like a broken machine you are personally responsible for repairing. You are not his teacher. You are not his therapist. You are certainly not his savior. Some people will leave this world believing exactly what they believed on the day they entered it. Accepting that is not pessimism, it is freedom. The moment you stop needing everyone to understand you, your attention returns to the only life you actually control, your own. Then, something unexpected begins to happen. The people who genuinely value wisdom stay close because they were never attracted to the arguments. They were attracted to the discipline behind your silence. The people who only wanted someone to fight drift away, searching for another opponent, willing to donate his peace of mind. Let them go. That is not rejection. It is selection. Schopenhauer once wrote that ordinary people think only about how to spend their time, while a man of intellect thinks about how to use it. Read that slowly. Every pointless argument steals hours that could have become strength, skill, wealth, or peace. Every fool you refuse to wrestle gives you something infinitely more valuable than the satisfaction of being right. He gives you your future back. That is the lesson Schopenhauer leaves behind. Intelligence is not measured by how many arguments you win. It is measured by how many battles you recognize were never worth fighting in the first place. Platforms like this one don't reward honesty that makes people uncomfortable. The algorithm quietly buries anything that cuts too close, so most of what actually works never gets a real chance to reach you here. That's exactly why Patreon exists. No algorithm deciding what you're allowed to know, no suppression, just direct access to everything that gets built next. If tonight's video hits something real, that's where you go to keep it coming. The link is in the description. Also, make sure you hit like and subscribe so you won't miss anything here. I'll see you soon.